Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and I have some exciting news from this weekend. So I basically got my first ever gold foil on Kano, which is really cool. I didn't get any gold foils on Zen, unfortunately, but I did get some LL points on Zen. But I'm normally a price splitter. But anyways, I got my first ever gold foil, which is really cool. And we're gonna show that off at a later point in the video. But for now, I want to kind of like talk about the matchups, talk about the weekend, and that kind of thing. So basically, I went. I think I did technically get defeated in Swiss, but I was basically the first seed in Swiss, which is I think my third event in a row, or not in a row, but maybe third event in total where I basically been the first seed in Swiss, which is really cool. I feel like my Swiss win rate is actually like much higher than my top eight win rate, but again, maybe it's just because like they're better players in top eight and whatever. But yeah, I feel like my pairings are also like pretty favorable. So lots of like kind of like lower A B decks, and I feel like there was like a little bit of like a meta call that Kano was probably a pretty good deck to kind of bring for that tournament. So I'll talk through some of the matchups. So round one was Florian. I think they were on like AB Channel Mount Heroic type stuff. It was like actually a little bit scary, but I somehow kind of managed to get there. Definitely, I think sometimes you just hit like a wildfire or two, and obviously really good. Against Azalea, this game was kind of nasty. I think I killed them on like turn two or something. I didn't feel like they had a ton they could do, but it was definitely a very close game. Round three, I won against a Syndra, and I think this is a Syndra where I was going second, which is normally not super favorable, but I somehow managed to eke out a win against Syndra. I think this was like pretty low AB. I think most Syndras are pretty low AB, just running like AB1. But definitely barely just kind of like crossed the finish line against Syndra. It was not a very like one-sided game. It was very much like I was at like 3 health or something, and then I somehow managed to connect the wildfire and do some stuff. Next, I had a Fi game with Brian Lorenz, who is a very good player. He was playing some Fi. I think I also maybe didn't have the die roll. I can't remember this game, or I can't remember like, super well. But yeah, Fi also very scary, very similar to kind of Syndra and kind of like the damage that they can represent. So that game was also quite scary as well, but kind of did a similar thing where I was basically able to get around AB1 and basically chip in for lethal. Round five against Slippy. I think I punted like a very small. I think it's my first punt of the day, and maybe one of my only punts of the day. Where I basically like thought I could do something funky with a D-pot, but I think I was getting a little bit too cute, and then like miscounted my resources and stuff like that. But I was playing against Tyler, who's also a very good player, so got slippied in round five. But at this point, I think I was the only undefeated, so I went 4-0, and because of some weird like ties and stuff, I was basically I think the only undefeated at this point. And then round six, I played against Aurora. Also a very scary matchup. I think they were on 83 Spellboy 2. But I think they like tapped out into me or something, and then I was able to kind of like capitalize on that. So basically, I went into the top eight as first seed, which is also really good. And then in the first round of top eight, I played against Vincent, which is supposedly a very tough matchup or like a very just like interesting fun matchup, but I've never actually played this matchup because I don't have like a ton of reps on Kano. So I think they were on like AB3 Spellvoid 2, and then I think they basically like went down to one resource, and then I tried to do like a double wildfire thing, and it kind of worked out. So beat Vincent. And then this is like the craziest Kano game I think I ever had. So I was playing against Mercy Bickle, who is from the Pro Tour, I think second place, who was playing Aurora against Enigma back when like CYB was unbanned and stuff. So she's like obviously a very good player and also a very cool part of the local community here. But yeah, she and I basically paired in semifinals, and I got the die roll, so I got to go first. We had one of the craziest games, which I'm gonna like try to like illustrate in a little bit. But this game was like nuts. Like basically, I was on the back foot. Like I think Mercy had me at like 39 to 9 or something like that. And then I managed to kill her on like my main phase, which I'll like show on Talishar a little bit later. And then for round three, I basically like did a prize split where I've never gotten a gold foil before, so I was like, hey, if you want to go to Singapore or like you want the LL points, like maybe we could do a prize restructuring and have like second place get the gold foil. So basically I ended up losing that game. We played it out still, obviously, as per like the LSL guidelines, but I didn't really try super hard because this is also like 9-10 at night. So basically lost a new, but we both ended up it kind of worked out for both of us, right? Where basically like I was able to get the gold foil and he was able to get the LL points and also getting a ticket to Singapore, which is really cool. So yeah, that was basically kind of like my matchup spread. And this is also the first time I played the deck in paper, which is really cool. We're gonna also showcase the gold foil at some point during the video, but yeah, I wanted to also kind of talk about the deck as well. So same deck as normal. Again, nothing really changed. I was also running this stupid 1 for 4 sweep because we didn't have any photon splicings and we didn't have any quickenings. But the 1 for 4s like actually do not matter, I think, at all. I think it's basically just whichever art you find interesting. And yeah, the main deck just seems really solid. Basically just like normal Kano. Like I think it's based on the ICBM list from Blazing for Lethal, who's obviously got a lot more reps on Kano than I do. But I was somehow able to kind of pilot this deck pretty well. And I think that this deck is semi-intuitive once you understand like priority windows and stuff. I do want to make a confession that the first and only 2 times I resolved Gaze the Ages, I flipped it into the Chi side. Like I was thinking it was a Chi because like it's functionally the same mechanic as Chi, right? Where you like bring it back to hand. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna flip over Gaze the Ages, and that's apparently not how that works. And I did that twice in front of like 2 different people. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm still kind of have Zen brain rot at this point. But yeah, I don't know. This deck's a lot of fun, especially if you're going into a field where like maybe people are disrespecting Kano. And I think that now that people are respecting Kano, I probably won't bring it back next week, but we'll maybe play a different deck this week. But I don't know. Just had a really fun time this weekend with this deck. I played against a lot of really cool players, and yeah, just a very fun time overall. So first we'll do the gold foil opening, which I'll kind of like segue into right after this, and then I want to show off the specific turn I had against Mercy, which is like one of the coolest turns I think I've ever had in Flesh and Blood. Like, and that's like a pretty, I don't know, that's a pretty high bar for me. Is like, I don't know, Kano turns are just like so cool sometimes, especially like the sequencing and like what happens and like the information and like asymmetry and stuff like that. So I don't know, that turn was really cool. So we're gonna basically showcase the gold foil. We're gonna do the turn with Mercy, and then I'm gonna basically add in some Kano footage or like some Kano gameplay that I recorded a little bit earlier. But hopefully you'll find that also enjoyable if you want to see how the deck is played and that kind of thing. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the gold foil. Hey everyone, it's Aurora from Flesh and Bad, and I just got second in a Pro Quest. We opted to kind of split the prizing and stuff. So this is my first ever gold foil, which is really cool. So I wanted to kind of open it on camera with Kano, obviously, because he carried me to a nice little, basically first seed in Swiss, and then also getting to the top 2. So yeah, let's go ahead and open the gold foil. We'll put Kano right next to it for good luck. Yeah, without further ado, gold foil time.
All right.
What do you think it's gonna be?
Part of me wants to say Norins of some kind.
All right, ready?
And go.
Ooh. Gallantry Gold.
Gallantry Gold. That's the name of that card.
All right, Bolton. Any Bolton players want a Gallantry Gold? Yeah, feel free to send me a message because I do not want this. But yeah, that's fine. That's cool. It's still my very first gold foil, so I'm stoked about that.
Show it off to the camera.
Oh yeah, nice little gold Gallantry right there.
Sweet.
Yeah. So if you want a Luminous Ascension, yeah, send me a message and I'll probably get rid of this. But yeah, it's cool. It's my very first gold foil, so I'm excited about that. Hey everyone, I wanted to kind of quickly showcase the turn I had against Mercy because I think it's like a really cool Kano turn, and I think in general Kano, like really cool Kano games, I think are worth like 100 other like normal hero games. So I don't know. I'm very excited about this turn. I think it's really cool. So I wanted to kind of basically just like recreate this in Talishar to like show the scenario I was in. So basically, I'm staring down Mercy Pickle on Aurora, who's like terrifying at the deck. Like obviously one of the best Auroras probably in the country, if not like local to Denver, obviously as well. So obviously very, very scary opponent. I was at like 9 health against staring down a 39 health Aurora. So I basically had to do something like fast. The only potion I was able to develop out, I think I also went first. And the only potion I got out was a Clarity Potion, which is like not bad, but also not like exactly what you kind of want. And so basically I'm also on this turn, I'm taking a ton of damage from a double Arc Lightning, which is going to be represented by this Tusk here. So I'm going to drop to 9. And what Mercy does here at the end of her turn, she has basically 2 cards in hand. I think both of these are reds at this point. One of them I know is a Flittering Charge because she like bounced it with Somersault. She's kind of like terrified because I have a 5-card hand, I have Clarity Potion up. She's got, Spell Void 2, and then also the opportunity to AB2 with 2 cards in hand. Because most, I think, Auroras are running like Spell Void 2 and then AB3. And this is the hand I have, right? So Mercy opts to try to pass prior to me at the end of the turn, not trying to push, like overcommit and like just like play super hard into Wildfire, because if she just goes to Spell Void 2, she could die, right? So At the end of turn, she passed priority me. I think about it for a bit. I'm like, should I pass priority back or should I like just clarity potion and see what there is to see? Because like if I clarity potion and I see a wildfire, I basically almost kind of win the game on the spot, right? With double kindle, blazing an arsenal, and a will of arcana, like that's gonna come in for basically a ton, maybe even more than she's like possibly able to AB or spell void or whatever, right? So at the end of her turn, I basically go ahead and crack clarity potion and see what there is to see. And I see a red floodgates and an aether arc on top. And I'm like, ooh, I can amp 4 on a floodgates, which means that Mercy is not going to, like, if I send this floodgates for amping 4, Mercy has 83 at most, and she can, like, pitch a blue, and then it's still going to come in for over for more. So basically, she's kind of in a scenario where, like, she might have to use Spell Void, right? And I think about, like, whether or not I should even do this on my turn versus her turn, and I'm like, is it just better to like do it on my turn, right? Because then I'm like forcing cards out of her. She might pass priority and stuff. So I feel like there's like a real incentive here to try to want to save this for my turn instead of her turn. So I go ahead and top, which is very scary for Mercy, right? Because you know this could be anything. This could be a wildfire. Like what would I top that's not a wildfire, right? So I go ahead and submit the opt, and then I pass priority back to her, and she is like terrified at this point. So she has like a red flittering in hand and red. So like if she commits more, obviously she's able to like push more damage and maybe get me a little bit lower, but maybe she can't like fully kill me or whatever. So she opts to basically pass priority back, which I think is like very reasonable in this scenario. Like you're at risk of dying. I'm passing priority, which means I won't get the opportunity to get priority again, which means it will basically move to my turn. So she's safe from wildfire for now. So she opts to also pass priority, right? So now we move to my turn. I'm at 9 health, staring down 39, I think. So we'll go to my turn. And I know what the top 2 cards are. So I start by pitching Will here to banish the floodgates, which I know is on top. Then I think I Crucible pitching the potion. And I also know that I'm drawing into a blue off the first Kindle, which is very important as well. So I go ahead and set the floodgates here. And then while the floodgates is on the stack, I Kindle, right? So first Kindle we know is drawing into a random blue. So unfortunately here with Kindle, I basically have to get like a random banish off the top, which is normally not terrible, but we're basically just going to pitch this Kano, see what we get. I think I randomly hit like a prognosticate. I think this is exactly the card I hit because I basically like spent a little bit of time recreating the exact turn in Talishar, which is kind of a nightmare. So we're going to go ahead and banish that prognosticate and then let the other Kindle resolve. I think I fortunately also drew into another blue. I don't think it was like a blue that really mattered. It might not have been a floodgates or anything. But yeah, now we're basically going to be coming in for 7 in total with this floodgates, right? So we're not going to pay to give it any extra because we know it's coming in. And now Mercy's staring down a floodgates for 7. So her options are basically, I think she has an all red hand at this point. Her options are she can like maybe like AB 4 of this, and maybe that's good, but she has to give up 2 cards for me, which is like terrible. And that means like maybe she can't kill me on my turn or whatever, on her turn rather. Maybe she can't kill me on her turn, and then she's gonna have to deal with another Kano turn, which is like terrible. So it's really a damned if you do, kind of like damned if you don't scenario here. So basically what she decides is, okay, the floodgates is probably going to hit anyways, unless I give up a ton of resources. So we're going to go ahead and just let this hit and see how bad it is for me. So floodgates hits in for 7. I draw into 2 blues, which is also very fortunate for me. And I think here what I do is I Kano and I hit into a lesson, which is also really good. So then I think what I do is I go ahead and send in lesson here just for 3. And now Mercy also has the opportunity to AB this as well. I don't think I pay into Metacarpus here because I'm not sure if I want to like fully commit to this lesson like being our win con here, because like Mercy could have anything. She could still have a blue and then she could like stuff the lesson and then it's like really bad for me, right? So she's I think at 32 at this point, with a lesson coming in for 3. So Mercy, what she does here is she opts to also take the lesson, which is really good for me. So what the lesson allows me to do is I can basically tutor for blazing. And one thing to kind of like note about this turn is I haven't used an action point yet, which is also like really, really good. So the lesson will connect. I get to tutor a card. I put a blazing on top, right? And then here's where it gets like really fucking weird, right? So I have a blue in hand and I have 2 floating and I have prognosticate and banish. So I'm like, wait, can I just like Metacarpus this? Like, I'm just gonna push as much damage as possible because I can double blazing here, right? It's like really good. So I send in the first prognosticate. She also opts to kind of like take that one as well. So I banish top card of my deck, and I opt that to the top. It's a blazing. We know it's a blazing, right? And then I banish the blazing here. And then I send this in, also paying the Metacarpus. So now this is coming in for an additional 13 damage. And she opts to take this as well, thinking like, oh, that's over, and like that maybe this blazing, maybe I don't have another blazing in arsenal or whatever. But then I come in with the other blazing for, I think this is like what, 25 at this point. So basically, I kill her on my main phase during my turn with double kindle, which is like kind of sick, and also something I didn't think I was ever going to get the opportunity to do on Kano. For what it's worth, I don't know if there's a ton that Mercy could do in that situation. Like the best thing that maybe could have happened is like spell voiding the lesson or whatever. But like I don't blame her for like this play line necessarily, because like most, I think, fab players are like trained to basically want to use spell void and AB on like the Kano's turn, right? Because that's when like wildfire happens. Like I think that this line is very rare, like where you do like 12 damage and then blazing on your turn, which is like really crazy. So yeah, this is like one of the coolest Kano turns I had, and I just want to like recreate it here because it's like a really cool memory. I guess I have now at this point. Like I don't know, I've been on like a weird high basically since I like hit that turn, which is like really cool. I don't know, Kano turns are like really cool when they work out, and then obviously when they don't work out, you're like very sad. But I don't know, that was probably one of the best turns I think I've ever had in Flesh and Blood. So I don't know, I thought it was kind of like worth sharing as well. Maybe it doesn't seem like super significant or whatever, but I don't know, that turn doing it in paper was like so cool. So again, big thank you to Mercy for the game. And again, I don't really think she like misplayed or anything. Like I don't think she played it that wrong. Yeah, but when Kano has like a crazy turn like that, like I don't know, what do you do about it, right? I don't know if there really was much to be done other than just say like, oh, I got Kano. Like I don't know. There's maybe some things in like retrospect, but like she didn't know what was happening. Like I don't know. There's not, I feel like, a ton that she could have done differently. So big shout out to Mercy for the game. I think this is my first time playing against Mercy, so very good sport and good player as well. So I don't know, just a very cool moment in Flesh and Blood, and you know, happy to be a part of like the local community and stuff. And I don't know, just tons of really cool players, tons of really cool things happening at the local level as well. So anyways, that was my really crazy Kano turn, and yeah, we'll go ahead and do some gameplay now. I think this is some gameplay I recorded like earlier when I was practicing Sabrina deck, but yeah, super cool turn. All right, so we got a Slippy. This is a little bit of a tougher matchup I found, just because they're a lot more aggressive than other assassins, I think. But we'll go ahead and give it a shot here. All right, so it's turn 0. They're on AB1 Spell Void 1, which is not like the most Kano respect I think I've seen, but it's still like pretty efficient, honestly. All right, go ahead and play a Deja Vu off the top, and then let's just keep digging for stuff. Floodgates I think is fine to just banish to get it out of the way. Unfortunately, we're not able to really like force it through here, but I think we're just gonna like deny filtering and maybe just arsenal the Sonic Boom. I think we're fine just like banishing these just to get them out of our deck. Then Arsenal Boom. Okay, we do have Wildfire. Guess the question is like, do we want to just even go for it here on this low kind of resource that we have here? Because we don't have any E-Pots out, but it is Slippy and they're on AB1, so maybe we can just manage to Wildfire them twice is maybe a plan. See how that works out. If they go for some disruption here, I think we're probably just going to do it. All right, there's Leave No. I think it's probably just go time, right? I guess we'll see what they have in reactions. And then move to take the damage and then play out everything in response. All right, so we'll respond to the Leave No trigger. Let's go ahead and Kano. So we can't Storm Striders, yeah, which is definitely weird. Let's Crucible, Kano, and Hat. And I think we actually want to Deja Vu stuff on top here, because we can Deja Vu a Flare into our hand, which is pretty good. I think that's pretty reasonable. Let's go ahead and do top the Blue Gaze, or let's top the Overflow, top the Blue Gaze, and then top the Aether Player, because we want to draw into the Aether Player. All right, Wildfire goes on top, submit, let that resolve, let Crucible resolve. Then we have this Wildfire. So we know the top card of our deck is Gaze, and then the card below that is the blue Floodgate. So we might as well just draw the gaze as well. Then so we have Wildfire coming in for 5 right now. We pay into Metacarpus. What does that look like? We have 2 floating. Still need 1 for this, so maybe we can afford to pay into Metacarpus here. I think we might need the resources here, so I'm not going to pay into Metacarpus, I think. I think we're just going to go for this and see what they do. Might end up giving us both sides of the Widowvale there. All right, so they're going to take 3 off of that. It's fine, I think. So let's go ahead and now gaze and see what we're working with. All right, 2 overflows. I feel like that kind of does work. Although the blue overflow I feel like is like a little bit less exciting. Maybe it's still like fine though. So let's submit this. And then we can still like just dig a bit deeper here. So we'll pop the Stormstriders and then send in with the boom, which will come in for 5. Guarantees us we're gonna be getting the overflow. And then with overflow, we're getting 2 resources. We can get another overflow. All right, so now we know we have blue overflow on top of our deck. Go ahead and just grab it, I guess. Keep sending it. And then we have 1 more look, I guess, here. All right, Deja Vu. Not super helpful. But it's still, like, kind of fine here. We basically got rid of their AB. And now we can hope to hit a Wildfire maybe on a later turn or just try to chip them down. I think this is actually not terrible for us, I feel like. I wonder if maybe there's an opportunity there to get some extra damage if we paid into... I feel like we could have gotten like maybe like 5 extra damage if we popped our Spellfire to Metacarpus there. But then we lose our Metacarpus, which feels bad. I think I'm going to let them have an infiltrate here. Next turn might be a setup turn. All right, coming in for 6. Definitely a little bit of a scary spot to be in, especially with 3 potions in hand. All right, so they got my Kindle. Definitely pretty good. All right, 1 card left. Maybe it's like Codex or something. All right, Kindle, draw. Oh, shit, they can draw a card off Kindle. Wait, that's actually kind of insane. I forgot about that. I thought this is just like a do-nothing card, but apparently they can do something with it. That's kind of insane. All right. Let's go ahead and Kano. See what there is to see. Red Floodgate's actually... That's actually kind of sick, right? Because now we can just, like, send that at them. And they can't AB it. Like, the worst they could have is, like, Shelter or whatever, but it seems like they don't even have that. Okay, now we're following up, I guess. Kano one more time. Gaze is good. Yeah, let's go for a Gaze. Top cards are Eye and Destructive. So I want to draw... I obviously want to draw into Eye. Maybe we're just bottoming both of these because I feel like we just want to fish off Kano. Could actually even set up for a pretty decent Deja Vu, I feel like. All right, Red Overflow. That's also quite good. I feel like this is getting weird. This is definitely getting a little bit weird, I feel like. What happens if we just, like, try to kill them here? What if we, like, pop our Metacarpus to do this? Because they don't have AB, clearly. I'm kind of interested to see what happens. So let's pay into this. Get our 2 resources. Then we can Deja Vu these all on top. So we can top. We're pretty much just bottoming those, I think, right? And putting the gazes on top. Okay, it seems like they're maybe done with that. But so what do we do there? We can put the gazes on top. Banish them. We filter these 2. We see the floodgates on top, which means we can play the floodgates and also pay into Metacarpus, and then we're drawing 2 blues after that. Then we hit an overflow. Then we also maybe hit a lesson. I feel like we might have actually killed them there. It definitely felt weird to like pop Metacarpus on my turn, but like into what they were doing, I feel like just like spamming a bunch of like overflows and floodgates is actually like not the worst thing in the world to do with them. I don't know. I feel like there's maybe like a chance to like brick on a Kindle or whatever, but I don't know. I kind of like that play. I'm curious to see if like that game, like if we finish that game, do I actually end up winning? I don't know if that's the case because they did have a pretty good hand to like crack back at us, but like I don't know if we killed there on the spot, I guess is my question. Interesting. Someone who plays Kano tell me if that kills, but I think that might actually kill. All right, let's see if we can maybe get one more.